over any length of time manipulate gold anymore. They can come in here and bang it for $100 or $150, but it's going to come right back like a zombie. There's no way to stop it. And we're looking this year, probably by April, a price of something in the vicinity of $1,550 to $1,650 an ounce. And I think by the end of the year, we've got a shot at something between $2,000 and $3,000, or perhaps $2,500, which would reflect official inflation.
So, but between now and April, which is about 2.5 months away, you're looking at possibly it going up about $500 an ounce, roughly.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. Every time that they're a failure in the market, the government manipulating it gets worse and worse and worse. And they can't go in the physical market because they either don't have it or they don't want to lose it. And so they're using derivatives, futures, in order to manipulate, and they can't do that for any lengthy period of time. Right now, the government is short somewhere in the vicinity of about 290,000 gold contracts. Normally, professionals, the commercials on the COMEX, are short about 95,000. So that's about 3 times normal.
Wow.
It's never happened before. And so if gold goes up, they have to cover their shorts. They have to buy it back in. And that adds to the velocity and the upside. And so I think that it's a very powerful market to the upside. And I think those of you who have wealth had better get into it. If you're not into gold and silver coins or shares, you've got to get in there. But, again, first is food. And incidentally, about a year ago, my family, the whole family, bought 2.5 years' supply of food from the freeze-dried guy.
And it's good food in the bottle.
We're very happy with everything about him.
It's good food. He's a man of integrity. He keeps his word. Matter of fact, he'd been over backward to please somebody. I know that for a fact. Folks, again, the freeze-dried guy number is 866-404-FOOD. And if you want to talk about some gold and silver, and I know most folks up there, if they live like me, folks, you can't buy much of that. And I know that. I know this for a fact. But if you can buy one coin, it could value itself $500 plus in the next 3 months, and maybe up to $1,000 or more in the next year. And silver will do the same thing on a lesser scale, lesser numbers, but the same kind of increase, maybe more. You need to call Midas Resources at 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. Tell them I sent you over there and give you a special. And they will, folks. You mention my name, they'll give you a special deal. Talk to Ted, one that won the reps, and they'll give you a special deal. You know, Bob, you told me back several years ago, start buying some silver and gold. I couldn't buy much at all. I bought a silver dollar here, silver dollar there, 2 or 3 there. But over a period of like 12 years, it had to add up to, a stack of it. And again, I sold some I bought for like $3.50 a piece for over $12 a piece, and paid the house off. Again, that was remarkable. You told me that, and I did what I could. It was hard to raise 3 boys, put them through school and everything else, Christian school, and help them through college, and try to buy anything at all. But by the grace of God, we did that, and actually with your advice. And it really, really paid off for us. Again, I want to thank you on the air. You probably get tired of hearing that, but I'm sure many people appreciate you, Bob, what you've done. And anything you want to say before we go to the phone lines?
Yes, and I think that the experience that Pastor Bush has had is only a micronism of what is going to happen in the future. Gold and silver are in the biggest bull markets of any bull markets in history. For 6,000 years, gold and silver have been currencies.
Yes.
Not just used in manufacturing and other things like jewelry. And it's very, very important that you protect yourself against the very possible and very probable fall of the U.S. dollar. Not against other currencies. That doesn't even matter. It's against gold. I mean, we're looking at a performance that over the last 10 years where gold has gone up against other currencies. These are the 13 top currencies in the world by anywhere between 434% and 179% over a 10-year period. What more proof do people need that if they have excess capital, investment capital, wealth, how to protect it? You shouldn't care whether you make any money. That's not important. It's important is keeping what you've got.
Yes.
And being able to deal in maybe a black economy that may be only 2 or 3 years away.
Just be able to sustain your standard of living at least close to it. Folks, give a call to get a copy of the National Forecaster for free. 877-479-8178. Let's go to the phone line to start first with Janice in Michigan. Janice, come on in.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Good. Oh, Bob, I heard you talking, and I didn't know if you were going to touch on this Bankster Gate that's been unfolding. And I heard on the news today that they admitted before Congress that they caused this economic collapse with the housing bubble and derivatives and all this, and they said, but they didn't do it on purpose, and they said that they still want to be able to give all these huge bonuses to their employees.
And they're quite arrogant about it, too. Bob, any comments on that?
Well, as I told you, Lloyd Blankenfein, their framework at Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup and all the others, and incidentally, I spent 28 years on Wall Street and owned my own firm, they seem to think that they're doing God's work, as Lloyd said, or they're masters of the universe. They're nothing but two-bit crooks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, this is the biggest heist that's ever been perpetrated on the human race. I think this is worse than Bernie Madoff to the max. I mean, this is on a grand scale. This is the fall of our economy, and I believe that they've got egg on their face, and this is a chance for us to really
get rid of them.
Yes, and to hold them to the fire, and they're all tied in with the Federal Reserve, and so we got to get that audited. And
Bernie Madoff ripped off quite a few people, but they ripped off the whole country.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's right.
Good call, Janice. Good call. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that they admitted that. But the bottom line here is something that you said, and that is it was done deliberately.
Absolutely.
This was not done by chance. The only way that these people, these illuminists, and that's what they are, can implement world government is to bring the economy of the world, not only America, to its knees, and then try to enforce, if necessary, militarily, their will upon the American and world people.
Absolutely. That is arrogance beyond belief. Tim in Canada, our webmaster, come in and join us, sir.
Sure.
Welcome.
How are you this evening?
Doing well.
Bob, I wanted to call in and thank you. You don't really know me, but I've emailed you a couple of times. I took your advice 2 years ago and took all of my unfortunately locked in RRSP funds and transferred them into the Central Fund of Canada. And I saw my assets go from $132,000 to over $200,000. Now, that's not why I put it there. I put it there for safety, but just, reflecting the devaluation of the dollar and the increase in the price of gold and silver. I mean, I wished I could have done it years ago, but I didn't know the bank wouldn't tell me that I could go into a self-directed mode and transfer that money myself. They were trying to push me into stocks and bonds, which I had, steadfastly steered away from. And so I was only getting 1.5%, 2% on my RSP, which was, dismal. But at least the money was still there.
So you.
I think you can thank Butch Paugh and his program for that, as well as myself. Second of all, for all of you Americans who don't know what an RRSP is, it's like a IRA for Americans. And second of all, the Central Fund of Canada, for those of you who don't know, is a fund that holds 60% of their holdings physically in gold and 40% in silver.
Okay.
Just a wonderful spot to be, and you're right, Bob. I did get your information through Pastor Butch, through Dr. Stan, to a lesser extent through Alex Jones, and through one other fellow, which we won't mention, who divested himself of you and has now been, he's now gone from the scene. But I thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim, for the call.
Well, you're welcome.
What a super guy.
And just be happy that you discovered how to protect your wealth.
Absolutely.
And try to pass it on to others who you can help by example. And don't get disturbed if they don't listen, because most of them won't, but that's okay. It's all there in the Old Testament. You can take them to water, but you can't make them drink.
If you can just lead one more, it's worth it. Scott, is it Virginia or West Virginia?